American gets kicked out of a British pub for the first time. He had no idea what he did wrong. He thought it was going to be the highlight of his trip. A real British pub. Not the themed kind back in Chicago. Not the fake Irish-British sports bar with plastic Union Jacks and watered-down Guinness. A real one. Low ceilings, wooden beams, locals who've been sitting in the same seats for 20 years. But by the end of the night, he was standing outside in the cold London air, stunned, embarrassed, and officially kicked out. And the worst part? He still didn't understand what he did wrong. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. When Americans visit the UK for the first time, they expect history, castles, accents. What they don't expect is that something as simple as ordering a drink can go completely sideways. His name was Tyler, 28, confident, loud without realizing he was loud. The kind of guy who had backpacked across Europe for 2 weeks and already considered himself cultured. He had just landed in London that morning. By 8 p.m., jet lag buzzing in his bloodstream, he decided he wanted the full British pub culture experience. No tourist traps, no cocktail lounges, just a proper local pub. He found it down a narrow side street, dim lights glowing through fogged windows, a chalkboard outside listing pie and mash, Sunday roast, and something called Ploughman's. Inside, the place felt warm, not flashy, not trendy, just lived in. A few older men at the bar, 2 couples in a corner booth, a golden retriever asleep under a table. Tyler smiled. "This is perfect," he muttered. He stepped up to the bar and waited. No host, no server approaching, no one handing him a menu. Back home in the US, someone would have been at his table in 30 seconds. So he did what felt natural. He raised his hand slightly and called out, "Hey, can I get a menu?" A few heads turned. The bartender looked at him, expression unreadable. "You order at the bar," the bartender said flatly. Tyler laughed awkwardly. "Oh, right. Cool. I'll take a Bud Light." The bartender blinked once. "We don't have that." Tyler chuckled again. "Okay. Coors?" A pause. "No." "All right, what American beer do you have?" The bartender's jaw tightened just slightly. This is a British pub. A couple at the corner table exchanged glances. Tyler felt a tiny sting of embarrassment but powered through it. "Okay, sure. I'll do whatever's closest." "You could try a lager," the bartender replied. "Yeah, but which one's your most popular?" The man next to Tyler leaned in gently and said, "Just pick one, mate." Tyler wasn't sure if it was friendly or not. He ordered a pint of something he couldn't pronounce. When it arrived, it was room temperature. He took a sip. His face twitched. It wasn't cold. It wasn't fizzy like he expected. It wasn't bad. Just different. He laughed a little too loudly. "Oh wow, that's warm." Another silence. Someone behind him muttered, "It's not." Tyler's internal monologue started racing. "Okay, chill. Cultural differences. This is culture shock in Britain. It's fine." He found a small table and sat down. That's when mistake number 2 happened. A waitress passed by and he said, "Hey, can we get some waters over here?" She stopped. "We don't do table service." "Oh, really? You order at the bar." Again. Tyler stood up, slightly annoyed now. "All right, guess I'll get my own water." He returned to the bar and asked for water. "Tap or bottled?" the bartender asked. "Tap is fine." The bartender handed him a glass. "No ice." "Could I get ice?" Tyler asked. The bartender stared at him. "We don't have ice." Now Tyler laughed, louder than before. "You don't have ice?" "No." Someone snorted softly from behind him. He carried the water back to his table, starting to feel like he was missing some invisible rulebook. And then came the moment that really shifted the energy. 2 locals were discussing football. Tyler perked up. "Oh nice. You guys watching soccer?" The word landed like a brick in still water. One of the men slowly turned. "Football? Yeah, soccer," Tyler repeated casually. "I mean, you guys invented it, right?" The air tightened. "It's football," the man repeated, less friendly this time. Tyler shrugged. "We call it soccer in the States." "Good for you." The conversation ended there. He felt it now, that subtle frost creeping across the room. This wasn't open hostility. It was worse. It was quiet judgment. He tried to shake it off. Ordered another pint. This time he tapped his card to pay immediately. The bartender looked confused. "You open a tab?" Tyler asked. "You pay when you order." "Oh, right. Of course." Mistake after mistake. Then came the tipping moment. After his third drink, Tyler decided to tip the bartender generously. Back home, tipping was non-negotiable. He handed over cash. Keep the change. The bartender glanced down at the coins. You don't need to tip. I know, but I want to. The bartender hesitated, then gave a stiff nod. It wasn't gratitude, it was discomfort. Tyler was starting to feel defensive. Why does everything feel wrong here? He checked his phone and realized it was only 10:15 p.m. Back home, the night would just be getting started. He turned to the room and said, louder than he realized, "So what time does this place get busy?" A man at the end of the bar replied dryly, "It is busy." Tyler looked around. Half the tables were empty. "This is busy?" he said, chuckling. That was it. The bartender walked over. "All right, mate, I think you've had enough." Tyler blinked. "Enough of what?" "Time to head off." "What?" "I'm not drunk. That's not the point." Tyler felt heat rise in his face. "Did I do something?" The bartender held his gaze. "You've been disruptive." "Disruptive?" The word hit harder than he expected. "I was just talking," Tyler said defensively. "Exactly." There it was. In the UK pub culture, the pub isn't a stage. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about blending in, respecting the rhythm, reading the space. Tyler hadn't read anything. He stood there, heart pounding, trying to piece it together. No Bud Light, no ice, no tipping, no soccer, no shouting across the bar, no assuming it works like home. The room wasn't angry, it was tired. Tired of explaining, tired of correcting, tired of Americans in London walking in like the world adjusts to them. Tyler swallowed his pride. "All right," he said quietly. He grabbed his jacket and stepped outside into the cold night air. The pub door closed behind him with a soft thud, and for the first time since landing in the UK, he felt small. Not attacked, not hated, just humbled. He stood there replaying every moment. He hadn't meant to offend anyone, but intention doesn't erase impact. Culture shock in Britain isn't dramatic. It's subtle. It's quiet corrections. It's social cues you don't even realize you're missing. For Americans traveling abroad, especially into British pub culture, the biggest mistake isn't being rude. It's assuming everything works the same. The next morning, Tyler Googled UK pub rules Americans don't understand, and what he found changed the rest of his trip. But before I tell you what happened next, I want to ask you something. If you were in that pub, would you have reacted differently? Was the pub too harsh? Or was Tyler exactly the kind of tourist locals are tired of? Comment below. And if you've ever experienced culture shock in Britain or anywhere, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this story, it's just getting started. The next day, Tyler went back. Not to argue, not to prove a point. And sometimes the best way to fit in is to stop trying to stand out. The story didn't end with that quiet apology and a nod from across the bar. Because what Tyler didn't realize was that British acceptance doesn't happen instantly. It happens gradually, almost invisibly. He came back again 2 nights later. Same pub, same wooden beams, same dog under the table, but this time he didn't rush to the bar. He stood back, watched how people ordered, noticed how no one snapped for attention, no one shouted across the room. Conversations were contained. Laughter was shared at tables, not broadcasted. When it was his turn, he waited for eye contact with the bartender. A small nod. That was the signal. "Pint of bitter, please." No comparison to American beer. The bartender poured it, set it down. Tyler paid. And just as he was about to walk away, the bartender said quietly, "Settling in now, are we?" It wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold either. It was acknowledgement. Later that evening, the football match came up again. Tyler didn't try to dominate the conversation. He listened. When he finally spoke, he asked a question instead of offering an opinion. That's when something shifted. One of the regulars pulled out a chair slightly with his foot. Not a grand gesture. Just space.